Kia ora, my name's Nathan Tare. I have put this installation in the Steelwell at Pyramid Club, and it's called Stick, Stone and Bone. And the idea is that it was kind of using things that I found or foraged on the beach. So lots of driftwood and lots of bones, mostly sheep and cow bones, which I guess makes sense for the area that I found a lot of them. There's a lot of farming. And we have a seal skull, which is pretty special, and that was found at my friend's place out at Flat Point. There's a boar jaw, and just some really interesting sort of bits of spine. There's a tusk, and a sheep's skull, and stones that have basically just been treated by the ocean, cleaned, and kind of preserved really beautifully, so I haven't had really to do much to anything in terms of cleaning it. And I've just brought wood and the bones and the stones together and kind of blurred all the lines between the different things I've found with paint and wool and leather thonging. It's got a few different names, but roo thonging or leather thonging, and it's thin sheets of leather that's cut into kind of like a ribbon, and you can use it to tie things together, and just the natural qualities of the leather is pretty awesome. It kind of holds itself together, and kind of, I've tried to create these little pieces that are kind of resemble some kind of creature, or, your mind can kind of figure it out itself and see what you like to see. And the colouring of it all is quite an important part of it. The red, white and black are representative of the Māori flag, and there's bits of each found object that are just in its natural state. Yeah, it's weird with the beach thing. Like, there's particular spots that certain things come that wash up, and then I don't find those kinds of things anywhere else. So there's a few beaches that I go to to find what I need. So this is just the chime I produced for a Pyramid Club event last year for Matariki, and I've just repurposed the materials, and it was just bamboo sticks really, and it was hanging in a tree and was wind powered, but tonight it's just in the stairwell.
Tēnā koutou, ko Kāli Barbara tōku ingoa. I'm from Ngāti Rangi ki Pūoro, from the Tairāwhiti, Ngāti Porou, Ngāti Wepohatu.
Kia ora, my name is Te Kahurere Moa, Taumata, and I'm from Ngāti Whanganui and Ngāti Tū Wharetoa.
We're the local Pūoro witches, that's how we refer to ourselves. As you can see, a lot of our taonga we just found at the beach. And it's kind of cool, like this is our vibe, is we like to go around with our, turn up at these with all our flashmates and then have all of our scavenged bones here. And just to show you that you don't need artisan-made taonga Pūoro. Heaps of us just started with a pen lid kōauau, and then someone felt sorry for us at a wānanga, and that was our win.
Go on, I mean, you're a Pūoro player if you've gone and swung a ruler around at school once or twice.
I think our favourite thing to do is bring the stories of Pūoro to life. Whenever we find the time, or people give us the time, we want to tell the stories that are associated with the atua that we play and that we commune with when we play Pūoro. So the Thursday night session was really cool. It was not a lot of people get to chill out and listen to a story and actually be immersed in a story. So we love doing that for people, creating a space for them to relax and listen and learn something new, hopefully.
I te ti matatanga, ko te pū, ko te more, ko te weu, ko te aka, ko te rea, te kukuni, te waunui, te kore, te pō. In the beginning, there was darkness. And in that darkness, there were two beings locked in a tight embrace. Ranginui, the Sky Father, Papatuanuku, the Earth Mother, and together they rode about the night, the everlasting night. In between them, in that tiny cramped space between them, existed all of their children, heaps and heaps and heaps of children. And I also don't want to hear any of that shit that all of their children were male. Boring. If we're talking about atua, gender doesn't even come into it. Okay, so that was my soapbox moment. Get back into the story, Nanny. Okay.
Were there storytellers in your life that inspired you to kind of go that direction?
Yeah, 100%. Hidden Melbourne obviously is a big one for us, all of us. Because he wasn't, aside from being part of one of the drivers for the revitalisation of Taonga Pūoro, he was also an amazing songwriter and storyteller, and in a lot of ways we follow in his footsteps.
There's a few others as well, like Katerina Mataira, Te Heikuku Mataira. She wrote a lot of the stories that we have in our hearts and that we can draw from to find inspiration. And Robin Kahukiwa as well. Her portraits and her imagery meant that we always had a sense of who we were and how that was portrayed to the outer world.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Robin Kahukiwa as well is that she was kind of at the forefront of bringing back a lot of our atua wahine, our female goddesses, who in the world of Taonga Pūoro exist so heavily amongst all of the instruments. They're such a huge part of this art form, and I think, Robin Kahukiwa has been really good for empowering wahine Māori to reclaim that, which means there's real beautiful knowledge there for wahine Māori that come to Taonga Pūoro. Yeah.
Tēnei au ko te hokai. Tēnei au ko te hokai nei o taku tapu ai. Ko te hokai nuku, ko te hokai rangi, ko te hokai nei o taku tinana. Mehe hau miri miri, mehe pā kiri kiri, hikaka nei a kokoura.
For me, I'm a practitioner. That's how I see myself, as I'm just in the daily practice of playing Pūoro. And the practice of Taonga Pūoro, I feel like I have tools for everything in my life. Ceremony, fun, to accompany when I play music, to express when I feel really sad. And I think this art form gives me all of those things to help me. They're just tools for my everyday life. And then they're musical instruments and sound dope when you play them.
Yeah, I think as a person who finds it super difficult to meditate and to do things like yoga and breathe, I think Pūoro have reconnected me to my breath and to really understanding how my breath moves through my body. And it gives like a tangible presence to your breath. You know, you can really feel it when it resonates in a puoro, and that like helps me to, I think, reconnect and stay grounded. And yeah, I really love that as a practice, as a practitioner.
I dream of a healthy ecosystem. I think of just a lot of te ao Māori, or just the world as a human, having a healthy ecosystem. And I think Taonga Pūoro is a part of that. It gives us this time and space to commune, to come back to our breaths. But if you go deeper, it's a connection to our gods, which is the natural world. And I don't know, to sit in connection with the natural world on a level that deep where they're your gods and you worship them, I think there's like that can only be good for the planet. So yeah, when I think of a healthy ecosystem of Taonga Pūoro where people play and it's normal and natural to just hear people communing, yeah, that's a beautiful future, I think.
I really hope that more of this happens, more of our PP come through and have the opportunity to shine in this space, especially in the music industry. Like, I think Taonga Pūoro has such a natural inclination to like be open to anyone. You can pick up some stones and that's you playing Pūoro, you know, and I want that for... They agree with me. I want that for everybody. I want that for all our babies. So that spark of creativity in each person, you know, can only grow good things from there. So, yeah, everybody, play a stone, play a bone. That's my say.
I feel like humour plays a really big role in your guys' music. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like,
How did that happen?
Yeah.
We just egg seriously.
Yeah.
We just love to be human and like celebrate the things we love and cry about the things we don't love. So like that just permeates through everything we do.
Yeah, I think it's also just it started to become more of a conscious decision to bring that forward when we kind of realized how interested and like just how much it, like especially in Taonga Pūoro spaces, lots of different spaces, but how we kind of pop a bubble by using humour, and it gives people a moment to breathe and kind of relax. And I think that alongside Pūoro kind of smashes some preconceived notions that people might have about you as a Taonga Pūoro player, that you're this ethereal goddess, ever sacred lady or ever sacred uncle. To just show you a bit more nuance. And then it just so we leaned all the way into being chaotic and funny and all of these other beautiful wahine Māori traits.
This is a song about our favourite kai. Four bones pūha, 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 four bones pūha. Come into my water crisp patch, I know you wanna taste. Pull out sweet potato, you look yummy on my plate. I like you though, boy. Love you the most when I put the pot on. Yeah, I'm such a good host. Come in, my friends. Hey, oh happy days. Yeah.
water klihi in the pot. Hit the spot. Yeah. Holla at me when you got your water klihi in the pot. Hit the spot. One cup of flour in a bowl. Add a pinch of salt. There you go. Just a splash of the milk, not too much, babe. Whip it with a fork, don't deep dive with it. Put it in a pot, let the heat get in it. That's how you make a dough boy on the go. Hey ho. Yeah, you're welcome. Hey. Pork bones, poo-ha. 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 Holla at me when you got your water klihi in the pot. Hit the spot. Holla at me when you got your water klihi in the pot. Hit the spot.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thanks for taking that hectic journey with us. We got there in the end. Okay, just let me say, when we smash it, we fucking smash it.
Smash it.
We've done it in front of Troy Kingy and it was me.
We sweat.
This is Jonny Marks and I'm Alistair Fraser and we're going to keep playing some music. And the partial eclipse is starting around about now. It's going to be peaking at about 10.
Kia ora, we're Ern from Whanganui. Cheers. Rob's just going to explain the patch that we have going on with this plant here as well. It's like the primary source of our composition.
Kia ora, my name's Rob. I'm an electronic musician that's working with Tom as Ern, and I'm working primarily, exclusively really, with hardware-based electronic instruments. So I've got a composition here, all these wires. It's basically an interaction between everything that you see here, a group of components that form functions, and it's basically a conversation that's happening live. So the thing that we bring here that's slightly different, slightly special, is the element of non-human consciousness, being the kawakawa, our plant here. So the plant is actually controlling many aspects of our sound, and it's an interaction that we have with the plant. The plant actually responds to our own energy, to the sound, to proximity, to touch. So it's literally organic, and it's interesting because it brings an element of random, because we never really know how it's going to perform. But yeah, very interesting. A collaboration of sorts. So we bring the forest. So yeah, thank you.
Time we had sound check and we were all on stage together, but actually I just met Andy tonight, so we've never played together, but we're going to call ourselves Ira. Isaac, Rob, Andy, we're Ira. We're just going to make something up. read a lot of stats, right? I read a lot of stats about moths, and the latest one I read about Pūoro is that they live for 7 years as a caterpillar in a tree in a pupa state, and then they're a moth for 2 days. So this one's called 7 years and 2 days.
Kia ora, it's Ricky Pirihi here. I whakapapa back to Ngāti Mahanga Haurua on my granddad's side and Ngāti Wai me Patuhara Kiki on my grandmother's side, and that's on my father's side. And also on my mother's side we whakapapa back to the UK and to Portugal, so we've got a bit of a mix. Today we're up at Fortuna Chapel to do a conduction with a 15-person ensemble of Taonga Pūoro players. Conduction is basically it's a kind of an extended technique of conducting, where it sort of uses you use a series of hand gestures and directives. They're called directives to kind of they symbolise musical notation. So conduction's kind of I guess it kind of intersects total improvisation and scored music, composed music, sort of run between those two worlds. So essentially for conduction to kind of really work, it involves the conductor and the musicians are really responsible for the sound world, and the conductor, if they're doing their job properly, is to be responsible for the structure. So it's kind of like helping to put a framework around everything. Conduction, it's I guess it's an American art form developed by Butch Morris. It's it's extended from conducting. They're still quite sort of urological kind of devices in a way. So a lot of the things that I've brought in today, I've tried to, I guess, my goal is to kind of indigenize some of those techniques. So we've got one called, which is normally, like Butch has a gesture called sustain, which is obvious, it's just play a long note. But I've been working around with that concept, and it's called a pūkare, and that's like has quite a few meanings in terms of it can be a long note, but it's also the imagining a longer period of time. So it's kind of going down this whole thing has just made me rethink what time is and everything. It's like deconstructing or just getting rid of that. So sustain. We've got other things like tito ohia, which is like to bring in a foreign element into the sound world. The equivalent of that kind of is called pedestrian in Butcher's language, which is to introduce a new idea. It also means to improvise as well. You also got ngātahi, which means to everyone plays together. So it's like all as one kind of thing. And it can be like unison as well. And tāroa is to pair up with something. So it's that idea of like, it could be, might instruct two players to tāroa, and that would be that they play together. So it's either in some kind of duality or two separate entities playing in parallel or whatever that kind of looks like. I've kept it down to about 7 or 8 gestures today, and that's plenty to work with. I find that just rehearsing just with our voices is a really good way to kind of internalise some of the gestures. It's quite easy to forget them, maybe even I forget them. What am I doing? But it's cool. I mean, I've only really done, in terms of working with ensembles, I've done like 4 conductions in my life, so it's not a lot. I'm still like a total brand new baby born into the world of it, But what I've noticed from today is, because when I was like putting together a lot of these ideas for, okay, what am I going to use for this performance, I kind of already thought about the instruments themselves and went, well, nothing's really at a tempered pitch, nothing. So a whole lot of these kind of utilities that we have in the, I guess, sort of Western composition construct aren't needed. It's not like I don't really need to have a gesture for like play a, like a minor sixth, because your probably instrument doesn't do that, So it's just eliminating all those kind of things and being left with what the kind of the Taonga kind of determine what's required from my end, really. So just try and make it so like there's a gesture for in conduction for going up an octave. I would sort of don't really need it here because some instruments can't get up an octave. That concept doesn't exist. So it's reimagining all of that stuff. Like an octave. What is that? Oh, okay, that's going up and down an octave. What does that mean in a Te Ao Māori sense? So it's finding all these other meanings. It's just kind of provocations for musicians to think about too. That's kind of the big thing about it. The long-term plan is to kind of create a vocabulary of different gestural language that is really kind of sort of belongs in their kind of te ao Māori sense, you know, in that world. That's the plan. I mean, I sort of look at what Butch Morris has done in creating that kind of lexicon of ideas, and which is quite deep and immense, and going, well, that's sort of my life purpose now, is to create something similar to that, but a whole other kind of version of the conduction. And it's really cool because a lot of things that Butch has written about goes, please, whoever's out there, you know, take this and make your own thing out of it. Just wanted to kind of keep, you know, that kind of what was the sort of first thing that inspired me to think, oh, I wonder what I could do that's sort of different, you know. I think half of it too is just really want to get other people to just put it into part of their practice too, so they can use it. Or like the baton that I've got, it's called a tira. It's just an albatross wing bone, and that Alistair made, and it's kind of a cool starting point. You kind of go, this is my pūoro, and it can be yours. You know, you can use it, and here's a few. This is how you play it. You know, like, and it's sort of it's quite cool. That's how I sort of think of it. I'm always kind of keen for others to jump in there and develop their own, so teach them a few things, and they can sort of add to it too. You know, that's the kind of cool thing about it. It's not like this sort of dogma that, you know, everyone's got to stick by. It's like you can sort of make with it what you want. You know, I know Butch Morris used to there'd be different musicians that would come and play with him, and he'd have certain directives for just them, you know, because he knew they did certain things. So I mean, okay, do this, do your thing. So yeah, it'd be cool just to kind of keep, if people are keen, just to kind of keep working on it. You know, I'm just kind of curious, keen to kind of just keep exploring, and I don't know, just see where we end up. Yeah.
All the way from Ngāti Kahungunu, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, from Brooklyn. We have Piata Nian, who's a Taonga Pūoro prodigy. No, this is my daughter, Piata, and she's 9, and she's going to conduct us. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Piata Nian. I am from Ngāti Kahungunu and Ngāti Tūwharetoa. I like Taonga Pūoro because the noise, the sound of Taonga Pūoro really calms me down sometimes. And, from the start, I've lived in a household of Taonga Pūoro for my whole life. And, yeah, I just really like how Taonga Pūoro shows off to other people of whakapapa. Yeah.
Beautiful. How long have you been playing?
9 years.
And how old are you?
9.
You just found out today that you were performing, eh?
Yeah.
And then you ended up conducting.
I was thinking if it was too long, too short, if I should change or not. I didn't know what to do.
You were very present, though, then. If you were thinking of all of those things, it meant that you were being present in the music.
Felt very safe in your conducting too. It really, you felt like you were listening to what we were doing, and you were really responding to the way the room was receiving it as well. It was cool to be under your conduction. Loved it.
Would you like to do more of that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for coming to support our kaupapa this afternoon. How awesome is it to see our Pūoro community growing. And just know that if you have, if something has sparked in you today and that you feel a calling to anything that you heard, stones, bones or otherwise, no mind. Tēnei te wāhi, this is us, these are the people who are looking to take this kind of kaupapa into the world and into the future. We want for all of our puoro to be accessible, so no mai, tautu mai e te iwi. Thank you so much for coming. Tāna.
James Webster from Tainui Waka, from Te Whanganui-a-Tara and from Kawhia, and the tuners from Pūrikiriki Marae, which is in Pirongia. Back in the day, I think it was Hui with Herini and Brian and Richard and Langinui Kev and a cluster of Taonga Pūoro's players back in the 90s. Just heard a little snippet of a conversation about Taonga Pūoro being utilised in the performance of karitau. And what's a karitau, you may ask? It's a form of Māori puppet. There wasn't a lot of information available for karitau, and there was a lot of kōrero around them being utilised for, being used by tohunga as such for, mākutu on one hand, for rongoa on the other hand. Midwives and stuff used to utilise them as a third party to console with women who had lost children. And there's a whole lot of kōrero to do with the house of midwifery or the Te Whare Puhi, which is amazing, which I won't go into now, but there's a lot of kōrero around that. So we had a form of puppetry, and I thought, well, how would that look and how would that sound? So back in 2008, I applied for an artist residency at Whitianga school.
Mercury Bay Area School, and got a residency there. And my kaupapa was to build a series of taonga pūoro. Well, I call them karitau pūoro. And so they were a blend of karitau and taonga pūoro. And because the taonga pūoro have characters and have atuatanga and connected to them, I just thought, well, I could transform those into puppets and they have a voice. And so the first two puppets I made were, I thought, oh, well, I'll start with Rangi Nui and Papa Tuanuku. Yeah, this is based on the classical form of karitau, and which had little strings on the back. The arms were sort of detached and reattached with these strings, hence their movement, and just basically a handle that one uses to hold and to manipulate the karitau whilst telling your story or doing your karakia or however it is that you'd want to utilise these karitau. So I thought by creating these two, I could give me a sense of study and understanding the karitau in this sort of classical form, and then from that I started developing the rest of the whānau karitau that I have. We have big fella, Tāne Mahuta. He's a karitau and he's on a stick and a staff. And this was inspired by a piece that I'd seen down in Te Papa Tongarewa. And Shane James was sort of showing me through the collection and showed me a small togo. And on the top of the togo it had a little karitau. So you could just visualise this togo being used in whai kōrero, maybe being held up to the head so the karitau could, whisper in the kai kōrero's ear, and had another little kaitiaki on the end of this togo. So he has arms as well. He has a musical voice with this rōria. I created a kuauau. So that here is Tāne Mahuta. The next one I have is Hine Pū Te Hue. This one here is Arara. As you can see, it has a little base here we call a pai. When you grow hue, they used to make these little harakeke bands, little circles that they used to put underneath the hue to keep them off the ground and to allow air to circulate around them. And so when thinking about how to create a handle for Hine Pū Te Hue, I utilised this concept of the pai because Hine Pū Te Hue is more about nurturing and the voice of rangi Māori and hu Māori. So more of a gentle way of holding Hine Pū Te Hue as opposed to that the other way of grasping onto the handle. With a lot of the kōrero that comes with these, I've utilised kōrero about the kaperua or the seed pod pattern, mooncycle patterns, and the kauai and whatnot relative to Hine Pū Te Hue and the maramataka, growing your plants by the moon cycles and particular times of the season. So whilst utilising these as karitau for performance and storytelling, we can talk about the relative environment that they occupy. And so this is Hine Pū Te Hue. So last and not least, the collection that I have here is Hine Raukatauri, made in the form of a putorino. It's got this curve in it because I was inspired by the one that inspired heading in Melbourne to write that song Tapu Pu Torino, the one that's in the Auckland Museum. And it's sort of about, well, it's about this long, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 600 mils, 700 mils. It's quite a big one, but it does have this sort of curvature in it. And yeah, so this Hinero Katori and these manae here just represent the whakapapa giving birth to her children. Yeah, the inspiration for all that too is getting back to my story about contributing to Taonga Pūoro, was just finding another way to tell the stories of Taonga Pūoro, and I found that karetao was quite a good visual way to do that. Well, yeah, ka te mahi kauatu ki o koutou, and you know, ka pai te haere o te wā, te hui Pūoro Tū, me ake ki a koutou katoa, e whakarongo, e rongohia, e tirohia, e mahia i runga i tēnei kaupapa te Pūoro Tū. Tēnā tātou. Kia ora.